This screencast will demonstrate how to access the library databases, especially the ones that will be of best use to you in your research in your discipline of social work. So we'll get started. So you go to your UNCP website, of course, and click on Quick Links and scroll down till you see Library. And we could do a couple of different things here, but I'm just going to take the shortcut and just go directly to Resources. I could take a shortcut here too and go directly to Databases. Now the Primo search, as it says, is just, it's a one-stop shop. It will take you to all kinds of offerings. I like to stay focused, so I'm going to go over here to the Resources, and I'm actually going to go to Electronic Resources. And that's going to show me the popular databases as well as some feature films when you have time to do that. And so you can scroll down and see what else is around. Some library referencing, citation information too, little help videos there. But I'm going to go on the right here under Databases by Subject and go to Social Work. And you can see that the reference librarians have done a little bit of our preliminary work for us by identifying the best bets for research in social work. And so they are, Encyclopedia of Social Work, which would be, like Wikipedia, but for social work, and it's published. And now what it's going to give you, though, is some general information, right? It's not going to give you research. It's going to, but it can be useful to help you understand major concepts that you're reading about that aren't so well explained in the academic literature, for example, or even maybe in the more mainstream literature that you read from magazines, professional magazines or newspapers. So anyway, that can be a good resource. Here's one, Nexus Union for Criminal Justice. Psych articles is useful, as it says, academic research and practice literature in psychology and related disciplines. So if a psychological component of your topic exists, that might be a good place to, a good database to add to your search. PsycInfo similarly. Social Science Premium Collection is going to have lots of social sciences, as it says, over 1,400 serial publications. Social Services abstracts, bibliographic coverage of current research focused on social work, human services, and related areas. So that's going to be useful to you. Social work abstracts is about, are the abstracts or summaries of journal articles, and then the SocIndex with full text, 700 full text journals dating back to 1908. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to go back, however, to A here, and we're going to use Academic Search Ultimate. Oh, and I have to log in. You'll want to do that too. And if you sign in here, it's a good idea to sign in. Let me see, actual size. It's a good idea to sign in here also, because then, I'm not going to waste your time with that now though, because once you do, then as you scroll through articles, you can add them to your folder, as you'll see, and then you can print that out, which will be a nice list, or you can save it, save it as a digital file, because I will be asking you for your working bibliography, and that will have it, that will pull it together for you, and all you'll need to do is pull the citations. Initially anyway. Down the road you'll do much more with it. So we can go to Academic Search Ultimate and we can choose other databases. So for example, we can choose PsycInfo and Psych articles. We can choose SocIndex, social work abstracts. Let's see, if health were part of it, we might add those as well. Let's see, social science. I'm going to pull in some newspapers as well. Newswires, Newspaper Source, and web news. I think that's all I need for the moment. So once I've added what I want to add, and click OK. You might add a health source along the way if your topic is related to health, like mental health, for example. Okay, and so then when I click on Show All, I have a record here of the databases that I've used. And so when I ask you to add a screenshot to your discussion post, this will be the kind of thing that I want to see. So let's see. I took a look at Social Work Today to see just some current issues, to think about what I might search if I were, just sort of a preliminary search. And so this article in the current issue happens to be about social isolation, which of course is a huge topic today, as we're all trying to stay safe and well, and keep our distance from one another. It has its drawbacks, right? So I can see just by skimming this article that isolation and loneliness might be two useful search terms or keywords. Treatment might be part of what I want to search about. Community might be important. References here I might be able to use as well. This is, let's take a look here. National Institute on Aging. This would be a good website to add to my working bibliography. That will be something that I'll be asking you to do. So I'm going to go back to my database search, and I'm going to type in, social distance, isolation or quarantine. Yeah, let's use that. Social distance, and I could leave it at that, or I could do children, or I could do young adults. Let's try that. And notice that I get young adults or adolescents, teenagers or college students, young adults or adolescents or teenagers. I think I'm going to go with this one. And I'm just going to search for those. And so notice that EBSCO, or rather Academic Search Ultimate, also gives you additional search terms when you start out. Okay, so let's see. Notice that my results begin in 1920, and of course I don't need to go all the way back to that. So I'm going to pull it all the way up to 2010. Actually, I could even pull it further, since we're talking about the pandemic mainly, right? So I could even, if I wanted to, I could even focus on just 2019. And if I really wanted to, I could just change that there. And then hit return again, so it updates. And now I have a relevant list. And notice that even with just that 1 year, there are over 1,000 possible articles. So you never know just how rich the topic you're looking at might be. And if I scroll down a little further, I can see the source types. I will be asking you for a certain number of academic journals, and you can see how many of the articles in this results list are from academic journals. I'll be asking you to look at some news, some magazines like Social Work Today. So the source types box on the left is useful too. It can also tell me, I can also say, just show me the ones that are in English. And that will update my list. And so now I have just under 1,000. So I could do some other things here. I could, for example, say, show me this is the standard one. It gives me some subject and other information. I could ask for the abstract right here. But that makes my pages longer, so I'm just going to not look for the abstract under the detailed here. I'm just going to go with the brief until I see something that I might want to look at more closely, and then and notice that here's the folder icon. I can add things to the folder. If I haven't signed in though, it won't save them for me. They'll just go away. Although if I didn't sign in, I could add to folder and then print it out if I wanted to, or email it to myself. Okay, so now we can begin to look. Notice that you get the icon that tells you whether it's an academic journal, or let's see if we got any news coming up here. If not, I can just click on the news. So all of these are academic journals, which is a very good thing because you do want to concentrate on the good science. So, but notice that they're not necessarily directly related to the pandemic or to social distancing because of the pandemic. Now, this is odd. I didn't think I would get another language. Adolescent neglect, messages from research for policy and practice, a longitudinal study of the development of saliva in infants compared to adolescents. That looks like it's probably a lot to do with COVID-19. Social relationships, self-esteem, and loneliness in adolescents with learning disabilities. When I come upon something like that, I might decide that's really where I want to focus, or which aspects of mindfulness are important to include in adolescent interventions. I might actually be looking at both of those. These two examples actually are going to give me an opportunity to illustrate a couple more things for you. The HTML text is just what it appears to be on the screen. It's great if that's all you have the complete article. What you don't have, however, is page numbers, right? Because it's just what it looks like on the screen. The PDF gives you the way the article looks in the printed version of the journal, the printed version of the article. And you'll see, you can also see here that it's set up in the IMRD structure, which we're going to look at in a little bit. So the I is the introduction, the M is the methods, R is results, etc. So I'm going to go back to my results list. So those are the two versions, and notice that with the PDF, I actually have page numbers I can refer to. Actually, let me go back there for one moment. In either case, if I say to myself, I like this one and I want to add it to my working bibliography. Actually, this is a different one, isn't it? I'm going to click on this icon here, which is the cite icon, and I'm going to scroll down to APA. And this is probably not the 7th edition, the current updated APA style, because who knows how long this one has been in here. But for purposes of a draft working bibliography, when I'm just starting to search, I can copy this and paste it into, let's see, I'll do that just to illustrate. Copy it. And paste it into a document. It doesn't look so pretty, but it gives me the information I need, and I can set it up later. What it's telling me, what it gives me is all the citation information that I need to find the article again. Notice that it gives me a DOI. Actually, it's a proxy URL so I would have to go back into the databases in order to locate it. But there it would be. And that's the other way I could go about this would be to click on the permalink, and that should also take me back to this article so that I could look at it more closely and get and update the citation information to the APA 7th edition. So that is a quick overview of how to use the library databases. And the key, of course, is to be sure that you've used the ones that are associated with your discipline, that'll offer the most relevant for your discipline, and to really think about those search terms, that the keywords that you're going to want to look for, that you're going to place in those in the search bars, right? that makes all the difference.